Blessings, namaste, and love, everyone. I'm spiritualist, psychic astrologer, and medium Sette. As always, I am abundantly grateful for you to allow me this opportunity to share with you my astrological and spiritual insights. And in this segment, we are looking to the month of June of 2024. We are traveling so very, very quickly through this unprecedented year. And as always, we inspire everyone to be very present, to be very much in the moment. Allow yourself to be abundantly grateful and thankful for all the blessings that are already surrounding you. Keep yourself in a very good place. Maintain a high vibrational frequency so to radiate that frequency to the all of humanity. We're going through many, many changes in our country and in our world, and we trust that the end result, if you will, of all of this will be an experience where everyone will enjoy universal oneness, unconditional love, and brotherhood, and the blessings of our birthright, such as abundance and perfect health. And remember, it begins with each and every one of us individually, as to why we suggest maintain a high vibration. Always be in a place of love, because that's what you're radiating out to the all of humanity, and that's what's allowing us to really create the new age, if you will, the new earth, and to continually dissolve any of the heaviness and the density that's in the outside world. We may feel a little bit more intense in these next few months, but never be discouraged regarding what is occurring in the outside world. The more that we can be mindful of, as we say, being in the world and not of it, to just observe, be an observer as to what is occurring in the outside world, and trust and know that it has no negative influence over you. Certainly that does require a tremendous amount of trust, yet it's not impossible. And sometimes, if not all the time, it just requires just a simple change in our thinking as to direct your attention to all the many blessings that are already bestowed upon you. So we begin June with our new moon on June 6th. And as always, I suggest to recognize that before the new moon, the last phase of the lunar cycle is referred to as the balsamic moon. That's the ending phase. That is the opportunity to energetically prepare for the coming lunar cycle. Now, the balsamic moon phase begins on June 2nd at 10:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's the exact time when that phase begins. So we employ that opportunity to clear, cleanse, and purge, to begin reflecting on what we would desire to cast in motion at the time of the new moon. At the new moon, we plant the seeds. Right now, we're preparing, if you will, we're preparing the soil which to plant those seeds. So clear away any of the debris which doesn't allow you to fortify and cultivate those seeds. And that's how we use this cycle of the lunar of the lunar cycle to prepare for what is coming next for us on the new moon. Now, the new moon is on June 6th, as I mentioned, and the exact time of the new moon is 8:37 and 41 seconds a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, our new moon is in the sign of Gemini. We have the Sun, Moon, and Venus all within close proximity, less than a degree away from each other. Actually, the Sun and the Moon are at the exact position along the tropical zodiac. Venus is about 30 seconds of a degree away from the new moon. We also have Jupiter and Mercury also in Gemini. They're not too very close to the Sun and Moon. However, the concentration of Gemini energy is very, very strong. Now, what's interesting is that when we cast the new moon chart, and for me, I cast a chart for the United States since this is the country where I live, so that's what I use as a point of reference with my forecasts. All the concentration of energy is in the 11th house sector of the chart. That's the natural house of Aquarius. Now, Gemini represents, among many things, communication, our thoughts, our words, communications in all forms, lower communications such as writing, books, higher communications, which is Sagittarius and Jupiter. That represents more the media, like television, radio, those types of platforms. But right now in this segment and with this forecast and with this new moon, I'm suggesting one, it's another opportunity to be very aware of the power of our thoughts and our words. Remember, there's a reason as to why vocabulary is referred to as spelling. With words, we cast spells. I learned a very, very long time ago to be very clear in declaring my intentions with declaring my intentions being in alignment with my thoughts, my words, and my emotions. You know, the creative process is threefold: thought, word, and deed. When all those elements are in alignment with one another, then we empower ourselves and we recognize how we're the master of our destiny and how we are creating our reality. It begins with thoughts and intentions. The next step is the spoken word, the power of the spoken word. And the third is the demonstration of those thoughts and words. And when we can allow ourselves to recognize and be abundantly mindful of all the thoughts we are generating, we can recognize how we're creating our realities. I believe it was in chapter 3 of my book, I illustrated how that if we allowed ourselves to be aware, acknowledgeable, and honor every thought we generated and every word we spoke in every moment of every day, we could see clearly and we would be abundantly aware of as to how we're creating our realities. It begins with our thoughts. And this Gemini new moon, it's such an auspicious opportunity to become one, be very clear with those thoughts, but also recognize the power of those thoughts. And also something else I learned a very long time ago, to be acutely aware of all my thinking throughout the day and to perhaps, if you will, censor the thoughts and the thinking, and to be certain that all that I'm generating through that form is truly in alignment with what I desire. And at first, you know, it may seem like a very daunting process to be constantly aware of your thinking, your thoughts. However, just take little steps. You know, it just requires little short segments. It's in Taoism that one of the sayings is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small step. So you see, just take those little steps and really allow yourself to just be very mindful of all your thinking and all your thoughts. That's how we're creating our realities. And you know, this new moon, it's such an opportunity, such an auspicious opportunity to recognize and honor the power of the thinking and the spoken word. And because this segment, all the concentration of energy is in what's known as the 11th house, that segment, that arena of the astrological chart, the segment, the house that is natural of Aquarius, this is the opportunity to really observe and see things very differently. You know, Aquarius is connected to abstract, alternative, progressive thinking. And with all that concentration of Gemini energy in that sector, this is the opportunity to allow ourselves to really think outside of the box. And when we have the courage, and sometimes it does require quite a bit of courage to deviate beyond the norm and think very differently, that's when we receive alternative information and solutions to anything which may be challenging us, as well as a higher understanding of all that is occurring within ourselves and the outside world. It's when we think differently, that's when the change becomes strengthened and fortified. And sometimes, yes, we're not always very comfortable with change, especially in our thoughts and our beliefs. However, unless we change that thinking and these beliefs, then our lives will never change and improve if we have the desire to improve anything in our lives. You know, and this new moon is the opportunity to really think and see things very, very differently. If anything, just for yourself. You know, if there's a condition in your life that you're not enjoying, that you're not truly happy with, this is an opportunity to change the thinking regarding that matter and allow yourselves to welcome abstract alternative knowing that will provide for you solutions to those challenges. You know, we see the experiences as situations, not problems. Again, we're going back to the understanding of the thoughts and the words and the interpretation and how we observe and view things. If you observe a situation as a problem, then yes, it's going to be a problem. If you observe it as just merely simply a situation, then it's just that, a situation. And you have and that allows you to begin to empower yourself to rise above what might seem to be a difficulty, where at times it can very well be an opportunity for you to recognize something within yourself that you may not necessarily be aware of. Remember, it's all about seeing things differently, and this Gemini new moon energy is very much about that. You know, and in close proximity to all of that, we have Uranus. I mean, Uranus is still in Taurus, so, but I tell you, once Uranus moves into Gemini, that's really what's going to change a tremendous amount of the beliefs, and that will come later on this year and going to next year, and we'll discuss that in a different segment. Now, in this new moon, we also have Saturn, which is forming a 90-degree angle to the new moon. A 90-degree angle is referred to as a square aspect. If you just look at a T square, that's exactly what it looks like. You know, that square energy, all the aspects, they have a certain dynamic to them. A square is very creative. It also does present change. And however we observe any situation, for example, like a planetary alignment, you know, whatever is going to come to form from that energy is wherever it is that we're directing our attention. Even what we understand to be a beneficial alignment can be very negative if we're not approaching it from a higher vibrational perspective. With that square energy, with that 90-degree angle, that presents change. And if we're not comfortable welcoming change, then the alignment will present itself as a difficulty. Remember, change fortifies growth, and it also strengthens and fortifies creativity. So this is why I'm also just kind of reinforcing what I was saying earlier about changing your thoughts and changing your thinking. You know, and that Saturn element can very much strengthen our thoughts and our thinking and fortify and really and continue to reinforce those alternative levels of thinking. Saturn, you know, quite often gets a bad rap. You know, Saturn creates discipline and determination. It strengthens, it crystallizes. You see, however, in order for that to come together in ways that are serving a greater purpose for all of us, we need to recognize what we need to change so to make that happen. So at this time, and even maybe perhaps at the time of the balsamic moon, just allow yourself to reflect on your thoughts, your thinking, your beliefs, and really honor, are those beliefs serving a greater purpose for you? If not, it's time to change. If those beliefs are serving a greater purpose for you, it's a time to perhaps modify those thinking and those beliefs to serve an even greater purpose for you. You see, that's how we empower ourselves when we use this energy and really understand how to work with the planetary alignments. Then we receive the outcome and the blessings that we would truly desire. It's when we're not necessarily understanding how to work in conjunction with these energies that we often, what I say, as miscreate and bring forth something that we may not necessarily desire to enjoy. Remember, all of this, it's about empowering yourself and really knowing your power and becoming the master of our destiny and the master of your destiny. Now, on June 20th, we have the summer solstice, and the sun moves into the sign of Cancer. It's the beginning of a new season, and the exact time of the summer solstice and when the sun moves into the sign. Remember, it's not about the date. It's about the moment when the sun changes signs, which it may not always occur at the same date every year. This year, it's June 20th at 4:50 and 58 seconds p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Remember, that moment in another part of the world is June 21st. That's why sometimes, you know, when you see certain writings about astrology, they'll give you different dates for certain signs as to when the sun transits into one sign and leaves another. It's not about the date. It's about the exact moment, the exact time when that shift and that change occurs, which even sometimes a solstice can begin. For example, the summer solstice can begin on June 21st. This year it's June 20th at 4:50, 58 seconds p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And there's such an extraordinary alignment to the sun from Pluto at that time. It's an alignment that is very transformative, you know, and it's abundantly and acutely metamorphic. It it supports and fortifies change on a very deep molecular, if you will, cellular level. So just perhaps observe this experience that every one of us, our molecular structure is changing. We understand that we are ascending from a carbon-based existence to a crystalline existence. We're going from carbon to crystal, which suggests that we are ascending and we are elevating to a higher vibrational experience. This alignment with Pluto to the solstice point does indicate that the summer months will be abundantly transformative for ourselves personally, as well as for the all of humanity. And it's no different than the process of when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. That's the greatest example that I can use with a Pluto experience. It's transformative. It's metamorphic. Excuse me. You know, that element inside that cocoon is referred to as a chrysalis. You know, it's very similar to the word crystalline, crystal. You know, and you know, we're talking about the power of the words and the understanding of the words. You know, just to give you another insight as to how that experience is significant and becoming crystalline of your personal spiritual self-care. We cannot emphasize it enough, especially at this time. You know, Cancer represents, among many, many things, our emotions, our emotional well-being. It's certainly the summer months are the opportunity to really direct our attention towards our emotional wellness and to create any balances where there may be discord or imbalance regarding our emotional wellness. Cancer, the sign Cancer, also represents the ocean and salt water. So certainly during the summer months, many of us enjoy time by the sea. At a spiritual level, those experiences are very cleansing energetically. Because even being around the salt water, not even going in the water, but just being around salt water, those negative ions help to clear those particles of density and debris that sometimes we accumulate in the auric field throughout our human experience. You know, the human aura is designed to shield and protect us against the negativity and the external influences that can interfere with our wellness and our well-being. We're not always taught how to properly strengthen and fortify that aura experience, or that aura element. You know, throughout our lives, the aura can experience having tears, particles of debris, sometimes heaviness lodges itself in that aura. That being said, it doesn't mean that we can't empower ourselves to recognize how to correct that. Remember, whenever, at least for myself anyway, whenever I speak of anything that may seem to be a difficulty or challenge, a situation, or whatever that might be, in a challenge in a situation, whatever that might be, I will always share my suggestions as to how to correct the imbalance. And that being said, I also suggest to explore for yourself what's available, what tools you have at your fingertips so that you can correct these imbalances and embrace whatever resonates for you. You know, just be very mindful, especially again as we move through the summer months. You know, the times out there may seem a little bit more intense and challenging. And remember, as I said earlier, to be in the world and not of it. Direct your attention towards your own spiritual growth and ascension, because many of us may find that as we go through the summer months, we may find that we take a quantum leap in our spiritual growth and evolution. And remember, that only occurs when we are properly fortifying that process. Not, you know, Spirit isn't going to just wave a magic wand. We have to do, and rather we have to be and embrace and embark upon whatever is allowing us to really enjoy that growth. It's not going to just happen. We have to recognize there are many tools out there. There's much information, and you know, we are in very much times of misinformation. However, that is serving a purpose. Every one of us is being inspired to recognize and embrace our own personal, unique, higher truth, whatever that might be, and live that truth, but also honor the truth of another, even though it may diametrically oppose our own beliefs and our own understanding. We're not here to judge another's beliefs or path or purpose. We're here to embrace our own. And as we go through these summer months, perhaps allow yourself the courage to think very, very differently about yourself, what's occurring in your life, as well as what's occurring in the outside world, and hold the intention within yourself that whatever is unfolding is truly for the highest good of all. You see how that works there? You know, I always suggest that we not tell spirit how to conduct the blessings and how to orchestrate its job, if you will. Remember, spirit can see the bigger picture. It can see a lot more than we can. Spirit can see the entire jigsaw puzzle completed. Quite often, we only see the little fragments of the jigsaw puzzle. That's why we suggest, you know, to not tell spirit what the outcome of a situation really should be, and to hold the intention of the highest good for all. You see how that changes the dynamic of what it is that we are casting in motion, and it allows us to to welcome many, many blessings. And the blessings will come to us even greater than we can imagine when we're understanding how to work with spirit, with the energy, with the laws of the universe, with spiritual law, with the higher vibrational frequencies of Mother, Father, God, if you will, in whatever form that resonates with you. And allow it all to be in alignment. Once everything is in alignment with each other, then we bring forth what we truly desire to experience and enjoy, and we don't miscreate. And certainly that does require quite a bit of courage to really recognize and acknowledge that, one, we're not victims, and we're creating everything that we experience. And yes, you know what, that might be a bold statement. However, as I said earlier, if we allowed ourselves to recognize and honor and acknowledge every thought we had in every moment of every day, as well as the spoken word and whatever it is we're demonstrating, we would see with abundant clarity how we're so instrumental in creating our realities. Now, on June 21st, and it's right after the summer solstice, just over 24 hours after the summer solstice, we have our full moon on June 21st, 2024 at 9:07 and 50 seconds p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's the exact time when the lunar cycle comes to a culmination at the full moon. The full moon is in the sign of Capricorn, and it's in the early degrees of Capricorn. It's just over 1 degree of Capricorn. The early degrees of a sign are where where the strongest qualities and characteristics of the sign reside. Now, Capricorn represents, among many things, our goals, our long-term goals, our career, our path, our profession, but it also connects us with our greater purpose. In the natural zodiac, Capricorn resides at the highest point of the chart, which is referred to as the midheaven. It's the 10th house sector. That's where we discover our career, our profession, our path, marriage. But also, I understand that it represents our greater purpose. This full moon is an opportunity for everyone actually, to recognize and honor their higher purpose. You know, every one of us has a specific intention that we have been inspired to really recognize and demonstrate while we are in this human form. There's no greater or lesser wherever this is concerned. There's no outcome that has more importance than the other. Recognize every one of us has a specific part to play in all of this, and we've chosen all of this before embodiment. You know, I understand that it's kind of like when we look at an astrological chart. My understanding and my inspiration with all of this is that we have chosen the exact date, moment, time, and place where we embody and we come into this human form, and we've chosen that moment for the potential of those alignments. I observe that as the colors on the artist palette, and whatever it is, whatever picture, whatever painting we are going to create with that, we are choosing and defining moment by moment by moment. That is not absolute. The colors we've chosen before we've embarked upon this embodiment, and what it is that we are going to create with all of that, we are choosing in every moment of every day. Because when we look ahead, I always suggest to recognize that when we look ahead, when we look to the future, if you will, nothing is absolute, nothing's guaranteed, nothing is written in stone. Even Mother, Father, God, the universe, whatever that is, doesn't know the outcome of a situation because we have free will. And the higher beings, the higher realms, by universal law, cannot interfere with our free will. And this is why we are very instrumental and we are being inspired. We have been inspired, especially since 2013, and that has to do with a Pluto situation that was taking place then, that everyone was being offered the opportunity to recognize that we're the master of our destiny and that we have the power to create our realities. It's these external forces that do not desire for us to be empowered, and this is part of what we're going through right now. We're rising above any of those negative influences. And what I'm emphasizing with this full moon coming up, allow yourself to really honor a greater purpose. That being said, I also suggest to recognize whatever it is that you are very passionate about in life, that's a direct indication of your purpose. You know, many times we do honor and recognize that, and then we create so many situations of doubt and uncertainty regarding what that might be. But when that insight, when that inspiration is shared with you, honor it. You know, even at first, if it doesn't make sense, just honor it. Just honor what Spirit is showing you, because quite often, whenever a Spirit is sharing with us alternative abstract solutions and suggestions to any occurrence, at first it may seem a little out there and a little far-fetched. However, we just suggest to allow yourself to just digest the information, process the information, because once you arrive at that place of absolute faith and trust of that knowing, then you embark upon a leap of faith and move forward towards that purpose. So as I said, allow yourself to really honor and recognize what you're very passionate about, because that is a suggestion of what it is that might be your greater purpose. You know, quite often over the years, I've had clients come to me and ask me, you know, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And, you know, I offer my suggestions and insights, and many times the response is, oh yeah, you know what, that's really what I enjoy. However, you know, I can't sustain myself by doing that. And my response to that is, well, whatever you believe is going to happen is exactly what's going to happen. If you truly believe that you can sustain yourself and support yourself and generate whatever it is required for you to enjoy a comfortable existence, then yes, that's what you're going to experience. However, if you don't believe that, if you question and you doubt that, and you feel as though you can't, then yes, that's what you're going to experience as well. Remember, whether you believe you can or you can't, either way, you are correct. And it may have been Henry Ford who made that statement. That doesn't come from me. And I will always, you know, whenever I share an insight from another, I will always be mindful to give credit to where credit is due. And as I always seem to do, I'm going off a little bit on a tangent with all of this, but sometimes, you know, I've learned a long time ago to allow myself to really be guided as to what I include in a segment like this, even when I work with clients or conduct events. These experiences are very much channeling experiences for me. And I do allow myself to recognize, and that's why sometimes if you see me, I'm looking off to the distance, I'm actually recognizing what Spirit is showing me when I share with you these insights, as well as when I'm looking at the astrological chart. I have the charts down here, and then I look up there to see what Spirit is sharing and showing with me that they are asking me to include in these segments. And as I said, this is such a profound opportunity to really recognize and honor your greater purpose and what it is you're passionate about. Because look at it this way, whenever it is that we are experiencing and enjoying that passion, we are in a high vibrational frequency. And by being in that frequency, that's what you're generating to the all of humanity. You know, I hear many saying that they don't know what they can do to contribute a change to the world. My suggestion, one, recognize what you are being in every moment of every day. If you are being in a high vibrational existence, then yes, you are contributing to the wellness of humanity. If you're not allowing yourself to really enjoy a higher vibrational existence, if you're continually feeling and sometimes not understanding how you're fortifying the heaviness, then that's what you're creating and bringing forth to the outside world. When the majority of the collective is existing at a higher vibrational place, and in that place of absolute trust and perfect love, that's when so many profound shifts and changes will be occurring in the world. And as we go through the summer months, because I'll touch upon this in the next video, but these Actually, this full moon on June 21st, it's a trigger point for the March 25th total lunar eclipse. The times that we're in right now, this is another trigger turning point, which, and again, the outcome is dependent upon what it is that we are generating. This is in these June and July timeframe. It's a time for the all of humanity, as well as us personally, to really enjoy a quantum leap towards a higher vibrational spiritual existence, or we will digress and move backward and potentially towards a darker place. Remember, whatever is going to occur, it's up to us individually. And by maintaining a higher vibration, then that's what we contribute and bring forth into the outside world. One final point that I would like to share is that on June 29th, we have Saturn, who's been transiting the sign of Pisces. Saturn will move retrograde on June 29th. The exact time is 3:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Saturn will move direct on November 15th, 2024 at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, Saturn, every planet and every element has a greater potential, has a higher vibrational potential and a lower vibrational potential. And wherever we direct our attention, that's what we're going to bring forth. That's what we're going to bring to form. Saturn is the planet of karma. Pisces is also very much a karmic sign. So as the planet of karma is transiting the sign that is most connected with karma, every one of us is being inspired to really recognize the opportunity to balance karma. Now, when we talk about karma, karma isn't necessarily reward or punishment. The karmic experience is more about creating balance where there's been imbalance or discord. Now, Saturn is what is referred to as being exalted in the sign of Libra, which is the sign that's most associated with balance. When a planet is in the sign where it's referred to as being exalted, is where that planet is given the opportunity to demonstrate its greatest power and potential. So what I'm emphasizing is that, one, personally, we're all being inspired to correct so much karma that we've created in this existence. However, as Saturn transits Pisces, it connects us with karma that we may have brought into this embodiment from other existences, at least the embodiment prior to this human experience that we're in, this incarnation that we're in right now. And that, again, that does require quite a bit of courage to observe and recognize all of that. But you see, the next sign after Pisces is Aries. Aries begins the signs of the tropical zodiac. Saturn cycles are about 28 to 29 years, depending upon the retrograde influence. Sometimes it could even be 30 years. That's why astrologically, it's not until about 28 or 29 years old, at that age, that's when we become the adult. That's when we've crossed that threshold, when Saturn has generated a complete cycle in our astrological charts, and we've crossed that threshold to adulthood. That's an opportunity to really recognize and become very clear with who we are in our being. You see, Saturn crystallizes. Saturn will bring us great clarity, and it will solidify many understandings and many knowings. At that late stage in our 20s, that's when the knowing of who we truly are is crystallized, if we have fortified the experience to bring us that clarity. Right now, what I'm emphasizing is that the all of humanity is releasing and clearing, purging a tremendous amount of karmic experiences that may have been brought forth from lifetimes, at least the last embodiment of the last generations, so that we can begin with clarity and with greatness a new cycle of experience. Once Saturn transits into Aries, once Saturn finally completes its purpose in Pisces, then we begin a major new cycle of experience in the all of humanity. And right now, perhaps that could be why there seems to be so many difficulties and so many challenges, because we're clearing up an intense amount of discord that has been brought forth through lifetimes. And a lot of the energy is very, very dark and ominous. However, Remember, nothing has power over you. Even something that's referred to as a level of demon has no power over you, because all of that understands the operations and the functions and the parameters of free will in this human experience, that nothing has that power over us. The dark energy will do whatever it can to break us and to beat us down so that we surrender and give up our power. But the more that we can strengthen ourselves and keep ourselves spiritually fortified, then none of that, no matter how dark or ominous it may seem, it has no power whatsoever over us. Know your power. Know that power. And again, as we're going through the summer months, you know what? This certainly is an opportunity for us personally and collectively to really clear up an intense amount of karmic debris that we have brought forth from other lifetimes as well as into this lifetime. So then, once that is established and once that is corrected, then we are free to truly embark upon our purpose and enjoy the many blessings that spirits would enjoy for us to experience. We understand that if we correct at least 51% of any karma, whether it be the karma that we have brought into this embodiment from other lifetimes or the karma that we have generated in this lifetime, then we are much freer to enjoy many blessings and to really embark upon that passion and that greater purpose. So that being said, I'm trusting that this inspires you to really recognize the power that you have within yourself to rise above any adversity. You know, we never discredit any challenge at a situation that someone may experience, or anything difficult that may befall upon another. You know, we never discredit that. We say to honor that experience and know that you have that power and the potential within yourself to rise above any challenge and adversity. You know, we've been saying for many, many years that we are the ones that we are here waiting for. You know, if we're expecting someone else to come along to correct anything, then we're just giving our power away. Once we know our power, then we recognize that we are very much instrumental in creating the realities for ourselves, a blessed reality for ourselves, as well as a higher vibrational existence for the all of humanity. Once again, I'm spiritualist, psychic astrologer, and medium Sette. I thank you for allowing me this opportunity and offering me this platform as a potential and as a means to share with you some of my astrological and spiritual insights for this month, and to inspire you to know the greatness that is within yourself. Many blessings, namaste, and we will certainly see each other again very, very soon. Remain in the light and always in a place of love. Many blessings.